During this episode, we are using quite a few terms that stem from our mutual childhood anchored in our faith. We were all born and raised Mormon at the very least. And so we use a lot of terms that you might not recognize. So here's a quick handy guide if you get confused. We use the term YSA pretty often. That stands for Young Single Adult. And it refers to the group that we go to church with. Our church separates you by either being in a family group, or if you're a young single adult, you go to a different church service at a different time with people your age. The stigma around this is often people go just so that they can date around and get married, but a lot of us serve our time there. It's quite the place. The next term that we use a lot is a mission. Several of us have served a mission for our church. This, a lot of you might be familiar with, is where a young adult goes on a trip, usually to a place that is far from their roots, and they spend time teaching the gospel to people through proselyting, the people with the tags. That's those missionaries, right? Another thing that we talk about a lot is BYU Idaho, or BYUI. That is the school that most of us met in. That's where we all attended school for college. It is a church-sponsored school, and so a lot of it is very faith-based. We pray before lessons, that kind of thing. It was a, depending on who you ask, it's a good environment or it's a crazy environment. The last thing that we mentioned quite a few times is temples. In this episode, we talk a lot about temple marriages. For Mormons who get married, we don't have like a standard ceremony where the bride walks down the aisle and there's a priest that marries them. We have a ceremony that we perform in our temple, and where we are what's called sealed, which is the word that we use for being bound together in marriage before God and people that are there, and it lasts. In our religious ideology, it lasts for eternity, hence the word sealed, like sealed in stone. If you have any further questions about words that you've heard that you don't quite understand, feel free to comment either on our Instagram posts or send us a message, whether a DM on Instagram. Find a way to reach out to us, and we would be more than happy to set the record straight for you and help you understand. Thank you.
Welcome to the Mac and Cheese Crew, home to 3 friends and 1 lizard person who periodically get together to discuss life's greatest questions, like which shoujo protagonist would solo Goku, how long we would each last in a zombie apocalypse, and how to navigate life as a young adult in this futuristic hellscape of the 21st century. We sure hope you don't like consistency, because anything and everything is up for discussion in our merry band of misfits, and we have about as much focus as a shotgun sniping a pumpkin from the 20-yard line. Enjoy today's episode, and thanks for listening.
Hello.
Gang, gang,
Howdy.
gang. Okay, I'm not supposed to say that.
Censor.
And we've
Well-
already bleeped Max. We are 10 seconds in.
Yeah. Well, tonight, whatever time you're listening to this, we're going to talk about a subject that most of us in this podcast don't really enjoy talking about it because we don't really have that in our life.
Bruh.
Except you, the host.
Trying to make a
Bruh.
fight, y'all?
You
Thanks for calling
sadistic.
us out, homie.
Trying to make a
Butthole.
fight?
No, I don't know if y'all far away from me for now.
I'll bite your lips off, bro.
That's kinky.
Wow, that was like not even out of anger, man.
That
There's
was
like
a-
there's like layers to that.
There was like a
Guys,
bit of a
horny
thirst in
jam.
that.
That was a
sentence, my
threat,
friend.
Max.
That,
Was it?
That sounds
Was
more like a
it?
want than a threat.
More like a promise.
Yeah.
There's a yearning in
An
that
offer.
voice.
I'm going to bite your lip, Max. Did I say no? I don't think so.
You didn't say no, though.
I didn't say no. I'm waiting for you.
Sorry.
Focus.
We just yet
Max,
to talk
you
about
gotta
love.
focus us. You're in charge.
Speaking of Kai's deep yearning for Max's lips, go ahead and introduce our topic, Max.
We're here to talk about love. Most of us don't have it, but don't worry, we'll
Nice.
find it.
Don't hurt
So-
me no more.
What is love?
Oh,
What
boy.
do you, when
Baby,
you
don't
Baby,
hurt me.
don't hurt me.
Baby, don't hurt me.
Beam, 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 beam,
Anywho,
beam.
Maxie,
Hey.
your question is?
So, we're just gonna talk about it, just like have a discussion. What's love? What do you think is your favorite example of love in movies? Do you think the modern day
Ooh,
TV has
50
shaped our
Shades of Grey.
perception of wait, what?
What?
Let's dive into that, Kai.
Let's
Care to
dive
Yeah,
elaborate?
into
let's
that,
let's
Kai.
go. You know what?
Expound.
That's actually my first like discussion point. How has the modern day television shaped our perception of love? You know?
Okay, I thought you were about to
Mm.
go into a dissertation about 50 Shades, and I was like, I gotta go.
Oh,
I
that's
don't
a
think
lot.
any of us are
I haven't seen
qualified to
that
talk about the
before.
BDSM community just because, yeah. Anyway, back to topics. So
Thanks.
I
Rein
have a
it
lot
in,
of
Connor.
strong views about the whole how movies have portrayed romance because a lot of rom-coms and romance movies that have been pushed out, a majority of them, if it's normally like obviously normally it's the guy that's doing the pursuing and stuff, but
Mhm.
if a guy really did like any of the stuff done in romance movies in real life, it's super messed up.
No, that's
Super
true. It's super
creepy.
creepy and stuff.
It's very creepy.
So it's like it's hard to have like a realistic view of romance in movies because there's been so many that have been done that are just like, no, don't do that. That's horrendous.
Yeah.
Can you give me an
Because
example?
Like
well,
one example that I have is the movie Love Actually, like
Okay.
the Christmas romance movie that goes on and stuff. You know the
Love
guy
Actually.
from um the guy who's plays Rick in The Walking Dead is in that
Oh
movie,
yeah.
and
Carl!
he has a crush on Keira Knightley, who's
Who
getting
doesn't?
married to his best friend. And so he shows up to his best friend's house at night, knowing that she's going to answer the door,
Does he
and he
kill his
like
best
has like
friend?
a sign confessing his love to her, even though like
Oh,
she's engaged to his best friend.
that's
that's
messed
messed
up.
up.
Yeah,
You
so
gotta
it's
shoot
like
what you gotta
no,
shoot,
and
right?
like it's portrayed as like a very romantic, cute, good gesture in the movie, but
That's
in
like one
real
of
life,
those
it's like
things where it's
no.
like, am I the asshole for showing up on the eve of the wedding to my best friend's house so that I could steal his engaged, like, fiance? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, you
Yes.
are
And I
the
think part
asshole.
of the problem that normal love, how you would actually do it in real life, is not entertaining for a screen. Because it's all
Oh,
like the
that's
little stuff, the mundane things. That's no fun to watch on a screen. So obviously they're gonna like hype up
amp it
random
up.
parts, and make something new and
Speak for
exciting.
yourself, Allie. I love me a slice of life romance anime.
I
Yeah.
You
know
just
you
get to
do.
see like this small,
Okay,
adorable,
also
like
I will put this
falling in
disclaimer
love.
out there. I rarely watch romance movies,
Yeah, I
animes,
don't really watch
anything.
romance movies.
Romance is not my thing.
I watch
Clearly.
some. I think modern romance movies, like the newest stuff that's coming out, is being more aware of it. Like one example of one movie I love is Crazy Rich Asians, and I think
Yep.
that shows love in a very healthy light, um, despite it being in a genre that typically doesn't.
Okay, have you seen that movie? Have you seen Love Heart before by Jimmy O Yang?
No.
No.
But yeah,
No.
it's a really nice depiction of normal love, like turning from friends to lovers. Everything is
Mhm.
like really normal and natural. You don't have crazy stuff like, oh, I'm gonna die. You should save me, blah blah blah. Things like
I
that.
think that's why I struggle with dating apps so much, is because when you start a relationship like solely for the intent of like starting a romantic relationship, that works great for some people. Some of my friends have met their spouses on dating apps, but for me it
Mhm.
just don't work. I can't just like shop for a husband or like a boyfriend. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
you
It's
need a
like I gotta
best
have
friend first, yeah.
that best friend, that friendship
The
relationship that
companionship,
can like,
yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah, I'm just too cynical for them because I'm like, okay, how many girls have used that same line on past 20
25.
minutes?
I used the same line
Exactly.
on every girl.
You're a horrible person, Kai.
I customize it for them, but it's a similar
You're
structure.
still a horrible person.
It is it is weird. Yeah, I will say yeah, like the current relationship I'm in now is born out of a dating app. Yes, I
you
will
right,
give it.
you right. See,
And I will admit it was weird the first few times, the first few days talking with her. Um, to the point we got annoyed by the dating app that we had to just switch to like Instagram to just start
Yeah,
talking. And that's
definitely.
when it felt better talking to her.
that's true.
Yeah, because I think dating apps are inherently designed to kind of suck at messaging. So that way you get off of them and move on to another platform.
Yeah.
Because that's
That's
when,
actually ingenious.
yeah, I've
Mhm.
been able to use that excuse plenty of times of like, hey, this app sucks. Want to talk on something else? And that generally works. If you have a conversation that's like gotten to that point, it generally will work.
Yeah.
Must be nice to get to that point in the conversation.
I'm not saying it gets much further than that because sometimes they suck at talking after that.
That's the issue. It's getting
Laughs
a
and
lot
no
of people.
matches.
I guess Kylie brought up a good point. Like a lot of people, yes, I've met a lot of people who go from just meeting the first time they just meet each other just into a romantic relationship so fast. Most
And it's
people,
worked for me before.
We
Like
talked
I
about
have
that. I
had
have a
a
story.
No,
relationship
I can't do that.
born
No.
I've
from a
never
dating
gotten
app.
there. I've never.
Ooh,
But
I heard story. I like story.
I have a story. It's not my story.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I knew this girl in high school. We were like best friends. We're all together, always together. And then she moved to Utah before our senior year. We're starting in senior year.
Okay.
And so because she was missing our senior year of high school, I flew her out for our senior ball
Oh wow.
as like my date because I knew I wasn't going to get one. So, story short, worst night of my life. One of the worst nights of my life. I ended up third wheeling with her and some other guy she had met online that she had just met to a movie I'd already seen. Yeah.
Mm,
Sense. Fast forward to 2019, 2020, around there.
Mhm.
She announces she's engaged to the guy she had went to the movies with us. Now, granted, I did not know they were dating, still talking, because she had a different boyfriend for the year after our senior year. Oh, it gets worse.
she be playing the field.
So she's posting all this stuff like, oh, I'm so excited, I'm so much in love, and then suddenly stops.
Oh wow.
The engagement got canceled. I want to say 3 to 6 months later, she has a new boyfriend.
Oof.
A month later, she's engaged to the
The
new
tea.
boyfriend.
Oh, it's so
And
hot.
they are now married, which means, first of all, you're telling me you were so in love with this first guy that you were engaged, but immediately we're gonna cut it off and go to a different guy?
No, I feel
And
like
now
those people
they're
are like enjoying the
this girl
idea
has
of
never
getting
been
married.
single since she turned 16. Okay.
Yeah.
She was one of those people. I don't know if she
Yeah.
ever knew how to be single.
I feel
And
like,
in
yeah.
hindsight, like looking back in our like past, she was not a good friend. Like,
Noob. I'm a pro at it.
those types
Get
of
good.
people often aren't.
but yeah, but I was like, and I was getting all this information from a friend because I don't even follow her on Instagram anymore, really. And she was like, dude, this happened. And I was like, I have text messages from me and my friend who was giving me all the information. It was in like a span of 6 months that she was engaged, broke it off, got a new boyfriend, was engaged again.
That's devious.
It's
Dang.
insane. And it wasn't even like, oh, it was her now husband was someone she had known for a while. No. They met. I think
I don't
on
know
mutual.
how people have the emotional capacity to do that.
I don't
'cause
either.
I feel
I
like
don't
if
either.
I were to be engaged with someone and then it didn't work out, it would wreck me.
Devastated.
It
Yeah.
has taken me like years with some relationships to just like even feel okay. And so the people that have the capacity to just like immediately like
on.
move on, how?
Also, where
How
do
do you do
these
that?
people find lines of people waiting to date them? And
I
where's my
know. I'm
line?
like, girl, share.
Where's your line?
Where's my line?
Oh my gosh. No, because they just want a guy. They don't want
Yeah.
the guy. They want
Some
a
people
guy.
some people just can't be single.
Horny.
Yeah. It's not
Yeah.
even that. It's just like loneliness, like feel like, oh, I need a guy by my side. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
That's
fair.
why I have so many pillows on my bed. Because
Oh
I'm
my
lonely.
gosh.
But I have learned one thing, especially I learned this a lot more on my mission because I saw it a lot, was that if you can't love yourself enough, the moment someone gives you some form of love, you will take it. And people,
Yeah.
That's
and because
true.
of that, because a lot, especially a lot of kids in our generation, don't know how to truly love themselves, they fall into that trap of just looking for someone to love them.
Oh, that's true.
And
Yeah.
they find that said person who loves them. And the moment they don't feel that love anymore, they leave that person to for someone who's going to give them more love.
And
What's
linking this back until, oh, sorry, go ahead, Connor.
I was gonna completely change like how anyway, but what's weird about our generation on dating is that, for the longest time, you know, dating or courtship more likely was kind of the norm. And then, but ever since like dating actually became a thing, it's like drastically changed with each generation. And those changes have gotten bigger and bigger with each generation. So like even till now, where, everyone's still learning about like everyone has to process a lot more now because now like different sexualities are a thing, to actually be like, out there. And a lot of people have to first process the, who am I actually attracted to,
Oh yeah.
on top of, okay, how do I engage with other people? How do I go out and like connect in new ways that my parents didn't, that my older siblings even didn't, or whatever. So we're in a weird time.
We
Oh yeah, that
I
that,
think
that makes
you're
sense.
right.
Yeah. It's definitely like kind of split down the middle between people who are only interested in hookup culture and people who despise it. And it is so hard to like find your people.
No, yeah, even
Mhm.
at BYU Idaho, there was such a big, it seemed like everyone there either wanted to get married right away or they didn't want to date at all. It's super weird.
There's no middle ground.
There's no gray area.
Yeah. It was just ridiculous.
And what hurts about dating too is that I would say 50% of finding love is statistics. It's up to odds. So it's out of your
Yeah.
control, you know. Sure,
That's
there's
true.
that other 50% is up to, has a little bit of your control, like your behavior, you deciding to go out and stuff. But there's that 50% of just like, okay, well, there are actually no options, or like the culture's really weird and messed up, or,
how other people
Yeah.
perceive you and that sort of thing. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So
And
how
I feel
can
like
we?
another difficult
Yeah.
aspect, something that a lot of us deal with, is distance. Because, like, Max, your girl is in a completely different continent on the opposite side of the globe,
Yeah.
That's
you
true.
know?
Mine is in a completely different plane. Right
Kai
here
is
in my
dating
Does not
eldritch
brain.
horrors that our brains
he's
cannot even
dating a fourth
process.
dimensional being.
He's
Exactly.
got a 4D girlfriend.
Emma Watson, hit me up, please.
Oh my gosh.
But, like, the distance can be so hard. And I feel like, so, like, my first, like, committed relationship started out normal, and then it eventually became long distance, right? And it was difficult at first, and I thought I was really trying, and I guess the communication just wasn't there, because eventually this person, I'm going to keep it vague on purpose, broke up with me via text on a holiday.
What's his
it,
name?
it
Oh
was
yeah, this
rough,
story.
right? And
Mhm.
then, like, I'm in the process of grieving this loss of a relationship, and I'm talking to a girlfriend of mine, and it was one that I had reconnected with for my mission. Hadn't talked to her in a while, and I was just like telling her about it, and she's like, wait, what was his name? I told her his name, pull up a picture. She's like, dude, I matched with him on a dating app like 2 months ago, right? He is now
2
married to a different person, and
months.
she is now gay, so, like, obviously this didn't, like, shake out the way anybody thought it would. But, like, it is so hard when travel is such a big part of our generation, whether you're going for school or for work, or the people that you meet online live so far away.
Yeah.
It's rough.
Yeah. In terms of like just dating, in terms of just distance and social life, we do it is a double-edged sword, in terms of just social life. It could be at least slightly beneficial because right now, even though I'm in California and stuff, I'm not really, partly because of work and stuff, I'm not really in a spot where I have people I can physically go out and hang out with.
Ooh, that's
But
true, huh?
but I've become a decent presence on TikTok, pretty small presence, but I have friends and stuff on there. I have people I go on lives all the time. I'm able to hang out with them. It's great, but it's like, well, I don't actually hang out with these people in person because it's super hard. And same kind of principle applies with dating and stuff, where it's like, yeah, we could have a distance relationship, but that can only progress to a certain point until you actually have to meet.
Mhm.
I think I had to talk about this with Kylie yesterday and a little bit with Connor last night, where I was freaking out about the whole distance stuff and getting to meet my girl quite soon, actually, now I think about it. And
Maxie
it's
said, "My girl." So cute.
My girl.
Disgusting.
My girl.
My girl.
Disgusting.
it's freaky. Like I think about my trainer, my first companion on the mission.
Keep it G, Max. Keep it G.
Okay. My
You're
first
talking about a
companion on the
girl.
mission, he's Australian. He's now married to a girl who he also met on my mission from Arizona. They have been in a long distance relationship for almost 3 years.
Oof, I can't do
And they're
that.
married?
They're now married. And
Wow,
I remember
impressive.
asking him, like, how did you guys do it? And all he told me was, it was hard, but what helped was that both of us wanted it to work. Both of them did
Oh, that's
everything in their
inspiring.
power. Both of them did
Yeah.
That's
everything
cute.
in their power to make it work.
That's really cute.
Chisel that into a stone and put it in your front driveway. That is adorable.
Yeah. And that's what I put into and I's relationship is that we both we have both had a talk and we both want this to go for a long time. So we have made plans. We have
Aw,
made
send us wedding
strategies.
invitations.
I
So
will. I
cute.
will.
Right.
I will.
Yeah,
excited
If
to
I
go to
don't
your
get
wedding
I'm
in
gonna
like a
crash
advance.
your
gold
wedding.
foil paper wedding invitation, I'm gonna be mad. If
Bro,
you
who's
just
your
send
best
me
man?
some email with a wedding invitation, I will decline. I want a physical copy.
I need
Yeah,
you to
dude, we're like
deliver it.
top tier subscribers to your relationship.
You guys want to hear the 2 worst ways I've been invited to a wedding?
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So last year, one of my friends was getting married. And I saw the announcement online and stuff, and I was like,
Oof.
you know what? I was like, cool, they're getting married, but like I didn't, even though I was close with him, I hadn't been able to actually be in contact with him for year or two. So I had not been in communication with him that recently. So I was in Utah, and he messages. I was going to be in Utah for 2 weeks. Okay. On the Tuesday of the first week, he messages me and says, "Hey, I'm so sorry. I've been bad at communicating with you. I know you're probably in California right now, but I'd like you to be one of my groomsmen at my wedding, not this Saturday, but the following Saturday."
Oh,
And,
what?
and I was
Gosh.
like, "Homie, you are so lucky
So lucky.
I'm in town." So, I only delayed my drive home by like a couple hours. That's it. And I was able to make it to his wedding. And I was actually his only groomsman to actually make it to the actual wedding ceremony.
Did
Everyone
you
else
get a
made it.
suit?
Oh wow.
Yeah. So
He's
I
sending
had,
his
because I was
planning, not
so the
surprised.
previous day, the Friday before, um, I had another wedding I was going to. And it just so happened that like the suit that I had brought and stuff worked for that one. I just need to buy another
And
tie.
why you were so lucky. Oh my gosh.
So it's just like,
Dang. Jesus loved your homie because he
Yeah,
really
he
set that up
did.
for him, didn't he?
Yeah. Imagine you only have a G string on your back.
Kai, please don't
Kai!
have us imagine that.
You're gonna I'm gonna bleep that. But the second one just
Horny
happened.
jail.
The second one just happened today.
Oh, for real?
Today.
Yeah.
Honey.
So one of my friends, he okay, this is a big to do. He had announced in August that he was engaged. Okay, he texted us first, like us meaning me and my friends that we grew up with. Okay, his childhood friend. Text us, "Hey, I'm engaged." I'm like, "I'll let you know when the date and where it's going to be at." And I was like, "Cool." A month passes and it gets to be the end of September. And I'm like, and I text him, I was like, "Hey dude, we're gonna need to start like booking flights. So could you like let us know sooner rather than later? And so then he then texts the whole group being like, oh yeah, it's you know it's mid-November and it's going to be in California and stuff and blah 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 blah. It's like cool. He then like a month after that he texts us like what colors and stuff us groomsmen are going to need.
Definitely forgot all of you.
And then today I get a call from him formally inviting me to the wedding ceremony inside of the temple.
Oh my
Like,
goodness.
oh
And
my gosh.
November?
This-
It is
And this-
November.
It's
Oh,
it's
gosh.
mid-November right now.
Yeah, the wedding is Saturday.
Y'all are
Oh my
definitely
lord.
not his priority.
Good lord.
Oh,
See, I could not. Everything would be planned to the letter beforehand, and everyone would be up to date on everything. There'd be like shared documents going around. There would not be any of this like last minute crap.
Oh yeah.
yeah, just weddings I know are crazy to plan, but it's just funny
The
seeing how
stress
some
we
people are
out.
able to handle it and other people aren't.
And I wonder if there's a difference between like the guy's perspective of getting all his crap together and the girl's perspective of getting all her crap together.
Well,
Oh my
I know
gosh,
one
I'm-
difference is that it's considered the bride's day. So in terms of like the guys getting their crap together, it's like half of the time they're like, I don't know, it's not my decision.
oh
Yeah,
my
he
gosh.
ain't getting off that easy. He's making decisions with me.
So I'm helping my best friend from high school plan her wedding right now. She's getting married in April. And can I just say the secondhand stress? I'm gonna be bald by the end of this process because there's just so much going on. And I'm not even that super involved with the planning of it, but it's the more that like I get into it, the more I'm like, I might just want to elope. Like at
Do you
this
like,
point,
I don't want to get married
Honestly-
ever.
I don't want the stress.
I'm gonna be in that boat soon. I'm pretty sure Julia's getting
You're getting
engaged
married?
soon. Not me.
With
Boy,
who?
I can't even get a date.
I don't
I'm getting-
kill yourself.
Oh gosh. Maxie.
She will kill you.
Okay, Max, do you have another question to ask us?
Yes, I do. So the essence,
Asses?
no.
I thought that's
Okay.
what you said.
Donkeys. We don't need a donkey.
No, we don't need that. No donkey. All right. Okay. So with the whole relationship stuff, can you easily go from like friends to like, you know what I mean, like a relationship, not just a platonic relationship, but you actually like this person? Can best friends become like, or not just become best friends to becoming lovers, but also that process of just knowing someone, going on that first date? What do you think? There are
I
I
feel
know
think
there are
it
like-
varies
multiple levels
person
to
to
this.
person.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people get stuck with the first date.
So I've had relationships where we started out as like really good friends and then eventually caught feelings and we're in a relationship. And I've also had many relationships with dudes where that was not ever even on the forefront of my mind, right?
Mhm.
And I think it varies person to person, and that's where it gets hard, is because both people have to be on the same page with it. One of the
That's
most
true.
awkward experience. Are you guys ready for my story time? Whew.
Mm.
Yay!
One of the most awkward experiences of my life, and I'm going to keep this super vague to preserve feels. I was on a date, and it was after my mission. I was on a date with a guy who I had been super tight with in high school. Never had feelings for him. Okay, I just saw him as a best friend. Then both of
Poor
us were
guy.
off the mission. He asked me on a date, and I was like, you know what? A lot people change a lot, and like it'd been like 3 years at this point. So I was like, might as well go for it. So we go on this date, and I had a great time, but I just wasn't feeling the feels, right? I didn't catch the
Mm.
feelings,
There's no vibe, yeah.
but it was worth the shot. You know, I was willing to give it a try. And still sitting in the car, catching up after the date, we're talking, and apparently we were not on the same page because the sun went down. It was dark. We're sitting in the front seat of his car. Ali is trying not to die because she's heard the
Mhm.
story. We're sitting in the car, and I realized that as we're talking, he's been getting closer and
Oh,
closer and
wow.
closer. And I realized at the last possible second what this boy was trying to do. And I failed my dexterity saving throw because he went to kiss me. Okay. And he did that thing where you reach your hand up to like grab her face. And I did the only thing that I could think to do, and I dodged in the wrong direction, and he poked me in the eyeball so hard.
Oh my
I was like,
gosh, that's so
tears
funny.
streaming down my face. I was like, ah! He felt so bad, and I felt so bad, and I have not talked to him since. We both went to a wedding of a mutual friend. You know, we were cordial, but like fun. That was like a core memory of mine,
This is
and
one of my
Oh my
favorite
gosh.
stories.
it's
I
one
want
of
to
those
know
things
what
where
he
I'll be
said
like
afterwards.
trying to sleep at like 2 a.m. and I'll remember this. Okay,
Oh my gosh.
and
Like
to
so what
say
is
that
it what is his
ruined our
initial
friendship.
response though?
He felt so bad. He was like trying real hard to recover, and I was just like, oh, I was trying to like use the pain to cover for like the fact that I had just dodged a kiss. And he was like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, oh, it's okay. And I'm crying. My eyeball is like red.
Oh my
Anyway,
gosh.
the conversation came to an awkward halt, and he walked me to my door, and
So
that was
second
that.
date?
But like, no second date. And I feel bad to say that I would have been okay continuing to be friends, but I feel like it was both so awkward that it killed the relationship, like our friendship.
Ooh,
Yeah.
And I think it's
that's
because we were on
true.
different pages, just because I was
Mhm.
not feeling those feelings, but I guess I hadn't put that out there as well as I should have, because I came back with like a black eye and one less friend.
Going
I
off that,
feel like got it the wrong way. He should have like had a conversation instead of trying to kiss you.
Yeah.
Maybe
You should have asked.
You should have done
I
it
would've-
first.
ask
I know.
consent.
I know from a guy's perspective, there at least like from online circles and stuff, just the whole like first kiss situation gets kind of overly complicated because different girls see like the in a different way, because some girls are turned off by just being asked, which I feel like
That's
Oh
true.
yeah, take the
it-
lead or something.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
you shouldn't be like, that's he's taking extra care to be cautious. But
Mhm.
you know,
I think there's like a way to do it that isn't awkward, but there's definitely, it's like if
Oh.
it's just out of the blue, like there was no lead up to it, no like anything, it was just, can I kiss you? I think that'd be a little weird.
no, for sure, you're
Mhm.
absolutely right. But you know, this is on dating, so like
No.
no one, everyone
Oh,
has.
I have a
Everyone needs to
story.
fail once.
I have a story.
Oh man,
Allie, have you
So-
taken classes on dating?
I
Ellie,
was
have you been
forced into
dating?
a dating class
Oh,
on a
no.
Sunday.
Oh no. Oh, that's
Wow.
right. You were telling me about this.
So yes, I was texting the group chat when this was happening. So our 5th Sunday lesson last month was a panel about dating. Only one person on this panel was in a successful relationship. She was engaged. The other 3 were not in relationships. The girl who was engaged, she was the very shy, introverted one of the couple, so she was terrified and did not want to be up there. So we all felt bad for her. She was getting all of her answers from her fiance, who was sitting in the audience, mouthing words to her. It was
Aw,
a
we love a
train
supportive
wreck.
man.
It was a train wreck. It was awful, and it wasn't even helpful because it was all revolving around after you get the first date.
yeah.
And we're all
that's
sitting
true.
here
You're
like,
like,
we
how
can't
do you
even
get the
the
first one?
date. It's like,
When-
wait. It was awful, and that was our lesson, because we had a great like first hour. Our second hour was just awful.
It was rough.
Oh, no.
For the people listening, I just have to bring this up, Allie. I'm not going to let you get away with this. As you're telling the story, you're playing with a knife.
Sorry,
I saw that. What on earth?
Bruh,
I've been
inner
eating, I don't
demon is
have-
coming out.
those intrusive thoughts.
I have to say though, I don't know what it is, but I swear a grand majority of the time, as soon as like someone gets into a relationship, they cease to know how to give advice on dating at all.
Yes,
It's
but
a
You
also
forget everything you've ever
phenomenon.
known.
like if you're 36 and still single in a YSA ward, maybe I don't want to get dating and
Maybe
because you
you should
haven't
get
had a
one from
successful
me.
date.
Girl,
in
please be
past
so careful,
5
because I am a
months.
25 single lady in a YSA ward, and that's a little too close. for comfort.
36.
36,
I
Said
know.
bro.
36.
It's
That's
creeping
11
up.
years. Hey, I'm
You'll be fine.
I'm nearly 26. I'm your elder.
Dang, they're
I'm-
old.
When
for
is your
that.
I'm
birthday?
elder.
Next
Because
month.
by how much? Next month? Okay, yeah, you are my elder.
Yeah. I am technically what Brigham Young would consider a menace to society because
You're a
I'm 25 or older and unmarried.
I'm also a menace. Menace Club. Yay.
Anyway, next question, Max.
Next
Side note,
question.
This is going. Yeah, go up.
I feel like a total like just major imposter syndrome talking about this because I have a track record of 0.
You know who we haven't heard from is Kai. Not getting a lot of feedback from
Kai.
the
I was
top
about to
corner of
ask a
my screen
question
here.
that this question is going to maybe I want Kai to answer this.
Ooh.
Wow, specifically targeted to me.
Because I know Kai probably has a lot more experience in this regard.
Oh boy.
In some
Boy.
form. Maybe all of us do, but I know Kai and I get this a lot. But all of us going off Kylie's story of going on a date with a friend.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of us can be in the friendships and actually like that friend, but so scared to ask them out because we're scared to ruin that friendship.
Bro, you gotta put me on the spot like that, y'all.
Yeah.
yo,
Doug.
Kai, I've been
Bruh.
there too. It's a hard thing.
It is. Yeah, finish your question real quick, yeah?
No,
So,
that's
like,
it. That's
that
like
hot
going off
seat
that
when you're
point.
like,
Going out that point, like what do you do? Like
yeah.
what's the experience like?
So
How do you
there
move
are,
on?
I feel like there's two ways about it. One, you step back and turn yourself back into the friend mindset, or two, you actually talk to a girl about it. Usually, like a lot of guys just kind of took a step back and be like, "Oh, I'm too scared. I don't want to do this. What if it ruined everything, right?" Bruh, you know who we're talking about, Max. I hate you so much.
Oh, I think I know
So,
who you're talking about too. Hold on.
no, you don't,
I'm
Kylie.
I think I
lost.
do.
I do.
Y'all don't stop talking, y'all. But yeah, I feel like it's just natural because it's fight or flight, right? And
Yeah.
in a relationship, when there is like a high stake, uh, you just kind of most of us decide to take a step back so we don't risk it. You know what I mean? It's like gambling, but I feel like it's worse than gambling because you can earn the money back, but you can't earn a relationship back.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like if it's your best friend and you do that, you lose a best friend like forever.
Mm.
Like you can pretend that, oh, it's fine, like it's a normal thing, it's okay, like we can still be normal friends, but to you, it's always gonna be different. You know,
Yeah.
like that girl is always gonna be the person that you like, but never gonna have, and you still need to pretend to be chill with that. So yeah,
So how do you move on from that pain?
you can't. I'm still having that pain after like so many years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not like, oh my gosh, no, why not? Why? You know, not like that, but like, oh dang, I should have done this, I should have done that.
Because that's
Maybe it
what
would
I
be better
do.
if I did.
That's what I do
Yeah,
when I'm going through that motion. Like I could have done this, that. But then what helps numb the pain is looking for another girl.
yeah, yeah. You need to move on. Like other people, like it might sound like really bad when I put it like this, but other people kind of like helps you fill that hole.
I think
You
what
know what I mean?
also
Like,
helps too is that people go on about like, yeah, grow yourself and stuff, is that like if you just learn to like distract yourself in some way or another, that could be a relationship, or it could be just improving your life and stuff. And a lot of times when you experience things like grief or sadness and stuff, that stuff never truly goes away, but you can grow to a point where that grief has become small. So it's still going to be there. It's not great, but that's life, which sadly we all have to be through.
Yeah. So my turn for an actual story about me. So my first semester, I got led on by a guy for the entire semester.
oh,
He
what's
had
his
no
name?
interest. I'm not gonna say it.
We
'Cause
can
I'm a
help you
nice
do something
person.
about it. We can
She
shake
could
his
tell
eyebrow
us
when he
I don't
sleep.
care.
She could tell us
Don't.
off podcast if she wants us to do it. We don't want anyone, any
No,
follower
I
or
don't care. I
anything
don't
go
care.
after him.
It's been so long I don't care anymore. But like he had no intention of actually dating me, but he did not make that clear. And like
You,
that
yeah.
hurt. And like because that was my first semester, and that was really my first experience, like actually kind of having feelings for a person. And now where I am in my life now is more, I don't care about him specifically. Like I don't miss him at all. I just miss like the feelings and like the experiences. Like I miss
Oh
cuddling on the
yeah.
couch while watching a movie. Like that was fun. That was, can you tell my love language is physical touch?
Horny gel.
No.
It
Maybe
sounds
for
that
you
sounded like it came from a soundboard. Like
it did. But like
Press a button. Horny gel.
I guess.
Mhm.
But like you can let go of the person but still like have those like, oh, I miss this
The
event, or
moments.
like
Yeah.
a memory, like, oh, that was a really good memory. Sucks that it was with him, but like that was a fun day. That was a good night or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I think Conan can't remember. I'm gonna bleed the names, so don't worry about it. Um,
Oh, the one that went on the tall one, right?
yeah. You remember what happened to me?
Yup.
You got so horny, right?
whoa now.
No,
Whoa, now hold on.
no, I did. You remember
Defamation.
what happened
There's
when
no
I got
point in
that
reading
one?
that.
I got that one text from her, and it was good. Like I felt something was going on. Like this is going to be a good one. And then one day I got a text. Hey Max, can we just be friends?
Oof.
And
Oh,
I did not see
Did
that
you say
coming.
no? You should have said no.
I didn't reply
You
to
That's a
it.
can't
one-way ticket to
you
jail,
can't say
my
no
friend.
to a freaking
That's a
rejection.
question, right?
I
The question is,
all
will you stay friends with me? It's not, do you want to continue dating?
yeah.
We should
I
stay friends.
remember
No, I refuse.
it just wrecked me. Like I remember Connor and
Yeah,
Kai,
definitely.
especially Connor, like forced me out of the apartment. I refused to leave the apartment that week. Like it
No,
wrecked me
yeah.
because I missed those moments I had with her. It was good, and that wrecked just a text message wrecked it up.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I've not spoken to her
Mm,
since then.
Oh yeah, that's true. It must be really tough.
Do you know what's weird about that whole situation that happened a lot to me at school is that I'm friends with both of you. So I got to see both sides of that whole situation the
Bruh.
entire time.
I remember
The
that
entire semester.
God.
Bruh.
That's
she
not the weirdest case. That
she
wasn't the weirdest
avoided
case.
me.
She
Sorry.
avoided you?
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
Exactly.
surprised.
Because, Max was young at the time. Max was like 17
17, 18,
at the
yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So,
A
you never
child.
know how someone so young is going to take stuff. And, when you're young, you do take things rough. But Max, you bounced back pretty well and everything.
True.
Pretty well. He's the only one in a relationship right now.
Well, I mean,
That's
at the
true.
time,
At the time.
Thriving.
obviously, he's if
He's
he wasn't doing good
thriving.
from that one rejection, now he'd be pretty bad.
Yeah.
You know, so that's one thing that rejection is just kind of inevitable in relationships. And I always find it really funny when addressing it when different people address it, because we're getting to an age where gender roles aren't hard fast rules to follow anymore.
True.
As they should be.
And so girls are starting to ask out guys, which I feel like that's a pretty small step to gender equality. But a lot of them are like, a lot of them boil like a lot of girls who don't ask out guys, their whole thing boils down to, I don't like being rejected. It's like, well, tough, that's gonna happen.
That's true.
Well, so as someone from the other side, I think I've gotten asked out maybe twice total. I
They
mean,
hot?
granted, I've only been on like 10 dates total, and that's including the first semester chaos.
Hmm.
But I don't really usually ask guys out anymore or like initiate conversation because they never reciprocate the same amount of energy. Like
Oh
for
yeah.
example, the guy from the Halloween dance. Connor, you were not in the group chat yet when this happened.
No.
So I was in at a Halloween dance, and there was this guy with this really cool skull makeup, and I am a makeup artist. So I was like, dang, that's so cool. So I like complimented him on it, and we like started talking, and he asked if he could give me his number. Keep in mind, I initiated conversation. He offered his number to me. And I was like, sure, why not? He was tall, he was cute, why not? He has not texted since then. Later, I talked to someone else, and she was like, oh, yeah, no, I know him. He does that to a lot of girls. He is of the mindset of if he can get a girl's number, he will. Now, don't care. And no skin off my back. I wasn't expecting him to like message me anyway, but because he does that to a lot of girls, and just analyzing what we talked about and his answers to certain questions, like what are your hobbies, like what do you like to do, it was very clear he was looking for the cute, is very generalized, the cute little submissive Mormon girl who will just go along with anything, which
Yikes.
I am not, obviously.
The
But
flag.
and I was just like, which makes me angry because I know so many of those girls would be like just in tears because this guy never texted them. And that is one of the things that stops me from asking out, because, or like trying to initiate conversation or taking the lead, because the guy never, when that happens, half the time, the guy never even reciprocates even a fraction of the energy.
Yeah, I see that happening, but you know, that's from my experience, that's been an inevitable thing. That's why I haven't gotten into a relationship either, because no one has matched my energy. You know, I ended up last year, Max knows a little bit about this. I've shared details with him. Last year I had a very, very active dating life. And it
My
Hoe
did
man's a
phase.
hoe.
a little bit, not gonna
phase.
lie.
Man's a
Oh, girl.
hoe.
Yeah, before doing all of that, I went on
New slut era.
it was bad, guys. I went on 12 dates within a 2 week span.
How did
Wow.
you
How do you even do that?
survive financially?
Math?
So I did that. You learn how to do cheap dates. So I did that. I did that whole thing
Insane.
twice. I did
How
it
many girls have you
2
kissed in
semesters in
that
a
2
row.
weeks, though?
Huh?
How many girls have you kissed in that 2 weeks?
I didn't kiss any of them because
Failure.
I don't believe
Oh,
in kissing on the first date.
Good boy.
No, you don't kiss on the first date.
So,
If you
You're
try
from
to kiss on the
California,
first
I
date,
don't
you end
know.
up getting a black eye.
but so no, yeah. So I went on. So this happened. I did the 12 dates in a 2 week span twice. And the second time I ended up, having a fling and stuff. And then over the course of that year, I ended up having 2 more relationships, which both didn't pan out. And that was
At the same time, though?
Huh?
At the same
Just
time?
flexing on the
No.
fact that he's had
You were trying to
relationships.
trap this man.
Hey,
Of
So-
course I am.
but they both, but
Controversy.
like all of them didn't end up working out because, energy wasn't matched, whether that's by effort or vibe.
Like, you feel like you're giving a lot more than the girl's
Oh.
giving out?
Huh? Kai asked a question. Sorry, I didn't actually
No,
hear it.
yeah. Like, do you feel like you're giving so much more than the girl's giving out?
With the one of the relationships that happened that year, yeah, it was
Oh, it was just
completely
like,
one-sided
oh,
in
yeah, I
terms of
hate
affection
that.
and stuff. She was just kind of along for the ride. She's like, yeah,
He's like,
guy
sure.
likes me, sure.
Yes, wow.
And
I
so
hate those
you
people.
you inevitably run into people like that. This isn't just a girl thing or a guy thing.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
Anyone
definitely.
can run into that.
It's a person thing.
It's a personal thing. So it's like, and it's extra hard now because everyone nowadays is like, in order to be kind of cool, you have to like not put in effort. And so
That's
and
so
putting
stupid.
in putting in too much effort, you can come across as creepy.
Or a simp.
So it's like, you have to find this weird balance, but you also have to like make sure that like the other person is matching that. So like it's hard.
Mhm.
Mhm. Which is why we're all still single, with the exception of Max. Go away, Max.
Oh, I went,
Good job, Max.
I went through that. Like, what drew me to was the fact that she was able to match my energy. During the times, again, let me get this out. Like, yes, I have mental illnesses that I still struggle with up to now. And when I do get low, she tries, yes, she puts in more energy to compensate for the fact I can't put in that energy. And she understands that. When she
Aw.
battles with her struggles,
Aw,
same thing I do.
disgusting.
I'll
Wait,
put in
save
more
that for the
energy.
marriage, man. Save that for the marriage. That's your marriage speech, okay?
He's practicing, Kylie.
I'm
Let him do
practicing.
it.
I'm practicing. I'm
We'll just play this
practicing.
fun.
Let him
podcast.
have this. One of us has to be happy.
We gotta live
Jeez.
vicariously through Max.
But the thing is that I do see that even now I'm in a relationship is that we both try to keep the energy level of the relationship the way it has always been. If one person can't give enough, we understand why and what's going on because we
Mhm.
bring it out. Hey, I'm not feeling the best. I'm feeling kind of low. I'm feeling this.
Communication.
So communication, yes, communication is key.
Wow,
If
crazy.
Whoa.
Same thing with my friend from Australia. That's what kept their 3 year long distance relationship going was they communicated everything that was going on. If
And
they
I
Mhm.
felt something, there's one of them will say it and other understands it, and they walk it out because they
and I
wanted it to work.
and I think that's why long distance relationships either do so very well or fail so
fails
terribly
horribly.
is because that's all that the relationship is communication. You know, there is absolutely nothing else in a long distance relationship other than communication.
Yep.
So if you get that worked out, you know, once you're together like physically, then I think it makes things at least a little easier.
Communication and effort. Like, okay, this isn't like in a dating sense, but like, for example, Allie and I, we talk constantly. Like, I fall asleep on our phone calls just about three
All
times
the
a week.
time.
And
Man.
even
We were on the
though
phone earlier today.
I was at work. She was just hanging out anyway. But like, that's one of the things that like helps me have faith that long distance relationships can be a thing. Is it's literally just like you said, it is communication and it's effort. That's the hardest part, I think, with distance relationships and with online dating. And I know I'm just kind of beating this dead horse because you guys have all basically said it, but like, you're gonna have to want it. You can't just coast these days. You can't coast into a perfect relationship. You have to put in so much work.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
finding someone who's willing to work with you so you don't get burnt out is rough.
Yeah.
So what if a relationship doesn't work out? Who handles the heartbreak better, guys or girls?
I think it depends. I know
It
I
It
took
really
depends.
depends.
It depends.
I took the brunt end of all of the ones I had last year. Yeah.
Yo, y'all know my two relationships, right? Like the first one, like it's on my end. Like, woo,
I
it's
remember
bad
that.
for me. But like the second one is like bad for her more than me, I think.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it like from her reactions. I mean, granted, I did mess up a lot of things, but like I feel like on my side, I'm a lot more relaxed,
Mhm.
but on her side, she's a lot more depressed.
That is true because I do remember she stopped talking to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true, huh? I kept
Yeah.
talking to her friends though. Like,
Or
Damn. Damn.
no, because like I feel,
Savage.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've been on both sides where like I've had a relationship that lasted for a while that didn't pan out. And at the end of the day, I wasn't too torn up about it because it had been dying for a while. But also, like I mentioned before, I've been in a relationship where it didn't pan out, and then I proceeded to be literally like just destroyed for years afterwards, to the point where it's like, even though it's long gone and dead, to this day, it's still just a little touchy when I think about that. It still stirs up things that just like you mentioned before, like I don't miss the person, I miss the situation,
mhm.
that kind of thing, and I wish things would have gone better.
I miss the
Um,
making out.
oh, 100%. That's
Horny
all that it
jail,
was.
both of you.
Well,
I was joking.
Both of you.
that's one thing that was
Horny
really funny
jail.
too, is that so recently you guys remember when like the anonymous questions thing got really popular on Instagram stories?
Mhm.
Yes.
No, I had a friend, a close like friend I grew up with who's just barely going through a divorce. Like the when she had posted these stories and stuff, it hadn't been hadn't been finalized yet. That's how fresh the divorce was still.
Yikes.
And someone asked on the anonymous questions things if she misses doing it, And she's like, yo, just message me personally. I'm not gonna answer it on here.
That's a whack question.
I mean, like the answer is
Wow.
probably yes, but it's
Yes.
like you don't address
Obviously.
it on a public thing.
Yeah.
Like, holy crap.
Why is okay? This is a very sweet question. Why is it that elderly couples they always look like they show genuine love? Have you not
It's
noticed
because
I
that?
think I can take this one because
you can take it
Kylie
first.
has met my grandparents.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah, they're
yes.
cute,
on
adorable.
my dad's side. So here's a quick little rundown of their story. They met in Japan. My grandmother is from Japan. She's from Tokyo, and my grandfather was stationed there for the Air Force. And they met on the Air Force base. She was working there. He was obviously stationed there. And she would see him like on a break, and she'd always be like, "So, like, what are you doing? I see you here every day. Like, what are you doing?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm on vacation." He was on his break because he worked nights, but he called it his. And so they started talking, and you're a woman working on a military base, you get hit on a lot. And when he asked her out, she's like, "I'm so busy. If you want to hang out with me, you have to come to church with me." Usually that scares off soldiers. It did not work. He showed up on Sunday and
Granny
she was
got
like,
game.
"Oh, okay." So first of all, he put in that little bit of effort. And
Mhm.
then so she agrees to a first date and he stands her up. And she's like, "Well, what the crap?" And so she's like, "Well, it's not the first time it's happened." She goes about her day, and later that day someone else comes up to her and he's like, "Hey, do you know your boyfriend's in the hospital?" And she's like, "I don't have a boyfriend." And he's like, "Jerry." And she's like, "He's in the hospital?" Turns out he had injured himself and was in the hospital, and that's why he did not go to the date. And it's the 50s, before cell phones, obviously. And so I think part of what makes their story so cute is there's so much effort on both sides, because she had to come here to America, and there was so much paperwork to get everything done that she almost gave up because her English was so bad still that reading everything was hard. And they just there was so much effort that had to be put in, and it had to be put in right then. There wasn't a, "Oh, I'll text you later" kind of deal. It was, "I have to be right here in the moment with you, otherwise I'm gonna miss it." There wasn't an easy way to like document picture wise or like call every night. You had to be together to like make those memories, so you had to put in so much effort to make those memories.
Oh, so I need
That's
to
all
go
I got.
date an Amish guy who doesn't have a phone.
It's just
Yes.
like it's just easy in the heart, yeah. Because back then it's hard. Now it's easy. Now you can go on a
Mhm.
mutual date and be like, "Oh, I can just get another one." You know, what I mean, back then there's no another one. You know.
That's a good
Mhm.
point. Like, I think it's
That is a
too
good
easy
point.
nowadays, is that people treat dating like fast fashion
Yeah,
instead of like back then when it's like you really had to court someone
that's
because like that was
true.
the only option.
Yeah,
You had to bring something to the table, otherwise you were going to be passed up.
that's
Mhm.
true. People nowadays go on dates as a hobby. You know, like I'm free that day. Let's go on a date. But not
What is
like
that hookup
I like you.
culture?
We need to go on a date. Yeah,
I don't think it's necessarily hookup culture
It's like a
because
subsection of hookup culture.
it's like a subsection, because I feel like a lot of people don't even realize that they've fallen into that. Like some people might go on plenty of dates without any expectations of sex afterwards, right?
True.
But it's just kind of that feeling that, oh, it's especially with dating apps, or not even dating apps, just like this culture where, social media makes it so easy to get in touch with people that they treat it like it's just like fast food. You can just do it when you want
that's
and you can
true.
put it off when you want. And maybe that's why older people look so cute the way they do, is because they had to like freaking tie letters to the legs of pigeons practically to get to get their love across.
Smoke
I feel
signals.
like, yeah, I feel like old people appreciate their relationship more than we do. Like new couples don't really appreciate their relationship as much.
And I think this kind of like goes down to like the one thing that's kind of bled through all of our culture is this like consumerist mindset of like stuff being replaceable. But it's
Mhm.
like really we need to prize our relationships a
That's
lot
true.
more.
Yeah.
We live in such a consumerist individualist society that's kind of permeating everywhere that sometimes that ends up affecting our relationships. We're like, oh yeah, we could just churn things out, but then we realize through our bad mental health that we're like, oh, maybe I can't do this.
I don't want a boyfriend from Shein. I want a boyfriend from Etsy. I want there to be love, sweat, and tears.
Exactly. And
Not
also
tears,
with
maybe it's not much.
couples that are like older couples, it means they've like been together for a while. They've
They've
been through all of life's trials and are still together and have come out better for it.
Yeah.
Which,
Old couples are either going to be the best or the worst. There's
That's
no
true.
middle
exactly. There's really no in between.
They're either so cute because they've preserved for so long, or they've been together so long that they just don't want to go through the drama of splitting up and they hate each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is
That is
really
so true.
sad.
Because I have noticed with me, the reason why is technically not my first relationship. I have gone through
That's
some
cap. You was lonely
pseudo.
all your life.
No, not really. Like I've gone through some pseudo relationship, and the reason why it didn't work out was because the moment I noticed that it was from outside perspective, it looked like it was working well. To me, it looked like I was getting too used to her, and I didn't like that. I
That
don't
sounds
have
like
to.
commitment
Self-sabotage?
issues.
Mentally ill.
Yeah.
I'll classify it as commitment issues. Yes, it is a commitment issue, but I've noticed it's not just me that goes through that. A lot of us
Oh yeah.
goes through that where they're like, this is boring, but it's not boring. It is, you're just scared of the commitments.
Yeah.
Older
Like,
people
that, like,
enjoy that, the fact that I'm so used to this person, I know what this person is going to be doing in the next 5 seconds, and I don't find that boring. Younger people just like that excitement, that
yeah.
gush of dopamine in the brain.
Young people love the drama aspect of relationship, which I'll be honest with you, I hate dramas in relationships. And they're like, there's no excitement if you don't like argue with each other or there's nothing happening. I was like, exactly. Like, we
It's a
don't need
toxic
it.
relationship.
Yeah.
Again, I was 16 or 15 around that time, so like I was young.
When do I get to just skip forward into like a year into a stable relationship where we can just be fine?
No, yeah, I'm ready for that point. Like I feel like
Yeah.
once I get there, it's like that's gonna be easier.
Yeah.
Can you buy one of those on Amazon, just like prepackaged, past the awkward talking phase? I swear to Gandhi, if I have to ask another boy what his favorite color is, I might just explode.
That's why you gotta. Okay, here's the thing. Okay, you gotta make things interesting and ask thought-provoking but weird questions. Like in terms of weird questions that would work on guys, would you rather questions work really well? But one
Hold
question
on,
that
let me get a piece of paper and
I
write
was gonna
it
say,
down.
write that down. Write that down.
Wait.
one, but then another thing that works well is questions that lead to really good debates but make them lighthearted. Like for example, I like asking the question, do you consider cheesecake to actually be a type of pie?
Ooh.
Because people start thinking and you are able to go through points. So this question works multiple ways, because first it shows you could show some sense of humor there and how weird you are, which is always needed. 2, it shows how the other person handles conflict. And 3, it also shows how intelligent they are, how good of a response they can make.
What
That's
is
true.
pie?
So pie.
Yeah, it depends
Baby,
on
don't hurt me.
if we're gonna go into this. It depends on what your definition of pie is.
So
Yeah.
the way that I answer it is that pie traditionally has a crust and a filling, right?
Cheesecake is not a.
While cake is a sweet bread. So
Ooh.
cheesecake has a very similar structure to key lime pie, lemon meringue pie, and pumpkin pie. It's essentially the same thing structurally as those.
I would argue though that it might be a crusted pudding.
Yeah, I don't think it's a cake
No,
or a
because
pie.
then you get, because crusted puddings are still pies, because think of a chocolate pie, a banana
But,
cream
like,
pie.
But
Filling-
those pies
also-
have crust on the top too.
Filling
don't.
implies
Not
that there is
always.
like a container with a surprise on the inside.
It's a solid yogurt.
So
I don't think that either any of us have an invalid argument except maybe that one, Kai. I promise it is not yogurt.
But yeah, so and if a lot of times people just end up if you go by like Google definitions of stuff, technically all of the pies that I have listed, including cheesecake, would be a tart because they do not have a top crust.
Okay,
But
that was gonna be my
still-
point. I was like, a
that's-
filling implies like that there's
that's-
like
like a filling, like
no,
there's a
not always,
encasement.
because filling could just mean just semi-gelatinous thing, like pumpkin pie filling,
oh, okay, you're right. And
So
pumpkin pie is like the textbook pie.
yeah,
Max, you
so-
look like you're having a crisis. Are you okay? Did we go too deep? Would you like to go
Yeah.
talk about banging on the kitchen counter instead? Would you like that
Oh my
topic?
gosh.
Okay, so just a final thought, final topic to just discuss. Should love always be a sacrifice, like family versus the love of your life? That sort of thing.
I think love inherently requires sacrifice, but the level of sacrifice depends on the situation. Because, for example, I'm lucky to be with a family that's has a pretty good head on their shoulders, that are pretty logical, and that love me and support me. Okay, so if I get into if I've gotten into a relationship before where they did not like the person I was dating. Okay, I couldn't see why yet until when I was breaking up with her, she ended up showing her true colors during that conversation. So in which case, sweet, cool. But there's other times when, for example, if the family's racist, and you're dating a person of color,
Maxie.
So I know Max has been through this. I had another friend that I had, they had broken up after a few months because the family was extremely racist to the boyfriend. Because he was Latino. They got back together finally and they got married. But when I attended that wedding, I was watching those parents like a hawk, because if there was anything that could have messed things up, but they were able to push through it and like sacrifice and stuff. And eventually the family caved in and accepted it. So I hope that kind of answers the question a little bit.
So, like, I guess, are you asking, like,
Mhm.
if it came down to it, should you sacrifice outside ties and other things in order to preserve love? Is that what you're asking? So, like, a racist family is one of those things that you would have to sacrifice.
Yeah,
I
I
think
think inevitably you are going to sacrifice some things because, like, for example, if you're someone who's single and stuff, your options, not even just with, not just romantically, but also like for jobs and stuff, is way more lenient and stuff because you're not having to worry about another person. You could travel and go all over the place. While once you're in a hard relationship and stuff, it's like, okay, I really got to start thinking what's the best for the both of us, not just me. So inevitably, you are making sacrifices with love. Anyone who says otherwise doesn't know what they're talking about.
And I
Anyone
think
who
that as
says
far as like
otherwise is selling someone
someone, hold on.
something.
Okay.
That's true.
Something. No,
I think that
didn't
there
say
are
someone.
like
Mhm.
I
sacrificing
was
to get
making
into a
quote.
Oh, whoa, human trafficking.
Wesley.
Ooh.
If you are making sacrifices to like enhance your romantic relationship, for example, like I think that it is totally reasonable to sacrifice like your time for your significant other in order to help like you guys be connected. There are other things that you are totally valid to sacrifice, but I think there are things that you shouldn't, I guess, like give up on. Like I don't think that you should sacrifice your like morals and beliefs in order to be with someone. I think that if you aren't inherently working together to become better, like,
True.
and someone's actively trying
Mhm.
to like bring you down or change you to a point where it'll make you like a less good person, I don't think that sacrifice is worth it.
You shouldn't sacrifice like the thing that you are.
Yeah.
I've seen
True.
people sacrifice
Oh,
like
changer.
all of their hobbies for their relationships, and that shouldn't be the case. Maybe you could sacrifice time from them a little bit, yeah, because you need to pay attention to them. But if you get to a point where it gets controlling or whatever, or even demanding,
Mhm.
that's not good. That's not how this works.
You bring up a good point, and I see this a lot in, unfortunately, relationships that happen within the church,
Yeah.
where people will get married so young that these people don't even know who they are, and then all of a sudden it's like years later they've got all these kids and they are not their own person because they sacrificed hobbies. They became, instead of just like an individual, they became just a partner, and they never, like, they sacrificed their individuality. I have a friend who's been going through this where she's like, I've been married for X amount of years, I'm tired, I'm burnt out, and all of a sudden I've got free time, and she was just telling me she's so depressed. She's like, I don't even know who I am outside of just being a partner. She's like, I have no hobbies, I have no passion, nothing like that. And it's something that she was having to go through. And, she ultimately is working on coming to the conclusion that she can build up, and that it wasn't necessarily a mistake for her to get married so young. But like, I think you hit the nail on the head. You shouldn't give up who you are if in order to fit into a relationship mold.
Mhm.
That's true. I feel like really important though, like one thing that you should never sacrifice is your friends.
Yeah.
Like I see a lot of people like having married and just stop hanging out with friends because the wife or the husband think you're hanging out too much with your friends. You know what I mean?
So, Kai, you love your friends. Where was this energy of the trolley problem when you chose to kill all of us?
Oh, I don't
Yeah,
love my
wait a
friends. I think
minute.
you're essential, okay?
In terms of sacrificing friends, there is a little bit of nuance with that one, because I do think the healthiest relationships that I've seen have been when they have where both parties have integrated their significant other into their friend groups.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah, that's true.
that's when it works best. But there's going to be times when, like, yeah, maybe you don't vibe with one or a few of like the friends that your significant others have. But then there's also like the times when there's the guy or girl they tell you not to worry about, and you need to respect those
Yeah.
types of boundaries.
That's
Mhm.
true.
If your significant other's like, hey, be a bit more careful, like if you're gonna hang out with this friend, can I be there?
Yeah.
I
You
think
can
it's really
respect
about
that,
open
yeah.
communication
That's
Yeah.
true.
and really
And
like
trust.
explaining things to each other and just being able to accept the other person's answer.
That's
Mhm.
true. I think Kai mentioned a point that I want to touch on a little bit about the, your partner being like, don't hang out with your friends. I don't like the fact you're hanging out with your friends. I have noticed a lot of the time those are people who are very manipulative. And in order to manipulate you, they take away those who can support you. Family, friends,
It's a
loved
form
ones.
of abuse.
Yep.
It is abuse. And those are the ones you should just run away from.
Run.
Isolating you.
If you
I've got a
hear it,
question that's
run.
off topic, but
Yeah.
Okay.
relevant. Um, what is your like standard? And you don't have to go into details if you don't want to. What is like the relationship you look at and you're like, if I can get that someday, like, yeah. Anybody have any like specific details? Like,
John Krasinski.
I have 3 relationships that I brought up earlier that are the perfect example. That they all share pretty common traits. And that's my brother and his wife, whom I both love. I love everyone here. And they all 6 of these people, I was very blessed to see, the development of 2 out of the 3 of these relationships. But I've spent a significant amount of time with all of them. And all of them take a lot of great care to, of the, the needs that the other person has, and um they respect boundaries, um and they generally want to be part of not just their lives but like within their friend groups and stuff. And I think that's been the examples that I've seen that I really know that I can achieve that. But it's going to take effort and probably some time before things can get there.
Yeah, definitely. Personally, it's the little things. Just the mundane things that you do for each other that you don't ask about or like you don't bring attention to.
Like your
Um
dad.
like my dad.
I
So
love
Mhm.
that.
my my
Oh
dad
gosh.
is a character. He is probably one of the most romantic men in the world, but he misses the mark of delivery. So
Great intentions.
every
Weird
Friday
execution.
he
Like
every
a Phil
Friday
Dunphy.
he
Gosh.
Mhm.
buys the $5 bouquet at Safeway and brings it home to my mom and puts it
Oh,
on the
cute.
kitchen table and says your flowers on the table and walks away. When he proposed to her, they were at the Oakland Temple. You know, they were down there for a dog show and they were like, "Oh, let's go walk around the temple." And did he propose to her with a ring on the beautiful temple grounds? No, no, no. They were getting in the car in the parking lot, and he
Yeah.
was like, "Is this a good time to ask you to marry me?"
Yes.
What would he have done if she just said no? This is not a good time. Come back
Probably been
later.
like, "Okay, I'll ask later."
But
And
hey,
then,
at least with this guy, at least you know he's honest. Like all these are
oh
like, you know,
yeah,
he's not
oh
trying
That's
yeah,
to trap her.
true.
No, this is an honest man.
yeah.
He could be stupid at times, but he's an honest
Yeah,
man.
and it's like it would be so cute, but your delivery was just a little off. And when he went out and he bought her ring, they didn't go ring shopping. He picked it out himself. He brings it home, puts it on the kitchen table, and says, "Your ring's on the table. If you don't like it, we can take it back."
Oh wow. That's an attitude
It's
right there.
so close.
It's a way of life.
It's and I think like that's just so cute to me. I'm like,
Mhm.
it's the real personality that people bring to relationships that I really want. Like just two people who can really bring out each other's like the quirky fun parts of their personality. Is it stereotypically like what he should have done? No. But it makes for a really funny story later.
That's
Yeah.
true. I like that. I like that.
For me,
I feel like
go
yeah,
ahead, go
Max.
ahead, go ahead, guy.
Yeah, like for me, like John Krasinski, Emily Blunt, and Ryan Reynolds.
Brian Reynolds and Blake Lively. Yeah.
With Blake Lively,
Mhm.
yeah, they have a pretty decent one. At least their public
They're
persona of their
pretty
relationship
solid.
is really
Yeah,
great.
like at least for the public
Yeah.
side. Yeah, they're so loving. They're so encouraging, especially for Ryan Reynolds. Yeah, they make fun of
They're
each other.
funny too. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's
I
funny.
love
Being able to
that.
make fun of your partner is
I
top
know,
tier.
like,
Yeah,
because like if you're
knowing
not,
how to tease them properly is
Yeah.
yeah,
We don't want to
like,
Johnny Depp and Amber Heard.
oh
Nope.
no, definitely not. But yeah, you gotta support each other, and then, like, you can be a husband and a wife at the same time. You are fans of each other. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. So
So
true.
I feel like those two groups are my like ideal couples.
because in the end, this is supposed to be your favorite person.
Yes.
Yeah,
You know, this is the
Yeah.
person you're gonna spend the most time with.
that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Make it count.
You
Hmm.
better make it count.
Mm-hmm.
For
What about
me,
you, Max?
what I look for, I have this phobia. It's called autophobia or monophobia, which is basically the fear of being alone. Either physically, not too much physically. I can handle physical loneliness, but when it comes to emotional loneliness, that freaks me out a lot. So that's why I have a lot, a lot of friends that to make me feel that I'm not alone. But also have a very small group of really close friends, which is you guys are one of them
You're
that make me
welcome.
Oh,
really,
duh.
really feel that I'm not alone.
Just wilding in the group chat at ungodly hours of the morning.
Hmm.
But
Well, for him, it's not that okay. Well, sometimes it's bad, but sometimes
yeah,
for us, it's not that bad.
it's not that bad.
I mean, it's 12 o'clock
What time is
noon
it
right
for you
now.
there, Max?
5 a.m.
Gross.
Disgusting.
You know how we said that it's totally valid to sacrifice time for those you love?
Yes.
Exactly.
Max, you're
Max,
sacrificing too much.
bringing it. Yeah. Maybe
Don't worry about
consider your
it.
health.
Don't worry about it.
Max is nocturnal now.
I am nocturnal, basically. So, thank you all for listening to us as we talk about what love is, hearing our crazy stories and all. Well, this was a really good discussion. I like
Yeah,
this.
this was
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good job, Max.
we needed it. All of us needed it.
It's making me feel a little less hopeless in love.
just a little bit.
Just a
Maybe,
little.
mayhaps.
Don't worry, there's hope, and there's hope for
There is.
Mhm.
there's hope for all of you. Not
I
not
mean, if
just
Max can get a
those.
girlfriend.
If I
Wow,
can,
we
no, that's true. If I can get keep him, I'm a nerd. I'm a computer geek, nerd, whatever you might call it, and
Hey
I love
Max, you are
anime.
sexy, okay? You are sexy.
I think that's another thing is that all of us, I think anyone struggling with depression or anxiety and or if they are male, especially, okay,
Where's this
men have
going,
this.
Connor?
I'm going somewhere with this. Does not know how good looking they are. Okay, feel like women generally have a better grasp. Generally, not saying everyone. Okay, varies person to person, but
Mhm.
men especially don't know how good looking they are.
Are you talking about the female gaze, where
I'm
they
just
don't know
saying.
that they fit
I'm
so
saying.
well into it?
I'm saying good
Yeah.
looking in general, male or female gaze.
The average man.
There's
So
no
this is
ugly man out there.
so
I don't agree with that.
just
There's no ugly man.
I don't agree with that.
you got to learn how to strut
That's a
your stuff.
different. That's a
properly.
different discussion for a
That's a
different
different
day.
discussion.
Yeah, we could talk about that later, but
The plane of
Not
attraction.
today.
Mhm.
Okay.
Oh,
We did.
Connor's gone, but thank you guys so much for listening.
Thanks for listening.